The House of Commons Privacy and Ethics Committee met with officials from around the world tonight. They are leading a hearing this week on data collection, online privacy and democracy. Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg and COO Sheryl Sandberg were issued a subpoena to appear, but they will not be attending, we hear. Now politicians are warning they could be held in contempt of Parliament.
It's really important for Facebook and the other data giants to realize that their contempt of democracies, their contempt of citizen rights, their belief that because they're billionaire frat boys from Silicon Valley, they're above all of us little people, that they're running out of road. And if they continue to show contempt for our democracies will push back.
Meanwhile, Facebook Canada revealed today that it will take action to avoid interference in the upcoming fall election. Head of policy Kevin Chan tells CBC that accounts seen trying to mislead users for a strategic purpose will be taken down, though he says they have not seen that kind of interference in Canada as of yet. Well, joining me now for more, Mike Larson. He's the president of the BC Freedom of Information and Privacy Association, and Mike joins us from Vancouver. Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
Let's begin with the fact that this is now the second time this international committee will be meeting to discuss privacy. What do you think needs to happen at these hearings for there to be real change?
Well, I think we have to start moving beyond the diagnostic phase where we're looking at what's going wrong with big data and privacy and democracy and start actually looking at some concrete policy and legislative reforms. And I'm heartened to see that we're starting to do that in Canada. We're starting to look at things like digital charter and revisions to our privacy laws. It is a little bit late, though, with the election looming in the fall.
Does it matter, as you know, many people are talking about the fact that Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg will not apparently be attending the hearings. I'm wondering how important you think it is that the big data companies themselves are involved in this process. I'm of two minds on this. So on the one hand, I think because of the role that a company like Facebook or Google or Amazon plays in big data and privacy and democracy, it's very important for them to be part of these conversations. And I would hope that they would do so fully and enthusiastically. On the other hand, the fact that they've chosen not to participate, the fact that they've chosen consistently to treat these kinds of procedures as being inconvenient and unnecessary signals the fact that we need to move past the kind of consensual approach with Facebook and start imposing some regulations on social media rather than inviting them consistently to the table if they're not going to show up. I want to talk to you about how you think that looks. I know you talk about legislation maybe being the answer, but first sticking with Facebook for a moment. Facebook Canada now telling us the company is prepared to blow the whistle if it sees signs of any election meddling on its site as we prepare to vote in the fall. It will take down accounts, it says, that try to interfere in the upcoming federal election. How effective do you think that will be in the long run?
Well, it's a step in the right direction. I think anything at this point is important. I think one of the findings of the Information Commissioner of, the Privacy Commissioner of Canada and of the Information and Privacy Commissioner of BC is that we cannot proceed by relying on Facebook and other social media companies to regulate themselves. So while it's a step in the right direction, what I'd like to see is this kind of action being required and subject to some kind of oversight.
We heard today that, in fact, some people are concerned that even a data company like Facebook saying we believe there's been tampering is in itself a form of interference in elections. So how tricky is this going to be to navigate?
It's an unprecedented minefield, really. There's never been a time in human history where a technology has had such a capacity to impact opinion, knowledge, democracy. And so whenever you're talking about regulation in this sphere, you're talking not just about the respecting of rights, but about balancing rights. The rights of speech, the rights of expression, the rights of privacy, and the right to a fair and a transparent democratic process. So it's not like a silver bullet solution where you can simply impose one rule. There really has to be a very careful and thoughtful process here.
So final thought then, we're almost out of time, but as we look ahead at this whole new world, do you think that legislation is going to be the key?
Legislation will be the key. We're not likely to see anything, of course, before the federal election. So what I'd like to see going forward is really concrete promises from all parties involved about exactly how they're going to ensure that post-election we have the most robust and progressive privacy policy possible.